Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Research Works podcast. We're here at EACD Galway, Ireland 2026. Once again, I'm so glad you decided to join us for another episode, whether we're accompanying you on another walk or a long drive. It's been really lovely meeting people here at the conference who listen to us from all over the world. So a huge shout out to the people who have come up to us to say hello. It's so lovely hearing about how you listen to the podcast and how it's helpful for you. So thank you so much for tuning in. You're going to love this next episode because we're going to be talking about something that is very practical, actually. And for a scoping review, hint, hint, scoping review, to be practical, I think shows about the value of the topic. So joining us on the pod today for the very first time, welcome Riclef Schomerus.
Yeah,
I panicked in the last minute. Say your surname again.
Riclef Schomerus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you really can roll your R's pretty good, don't you? And you're like, you don't even realize you roll your R's.
I thought I could not, but
that was definitely far more of a roll R than I could. But it was definitely from the back of the throat. So where are you actually from, Riclef?
I am from Germany, and actually my first name is a very rare German name, Northern German name, and you have maybe a handful of them.
Really?
Yes.
How unique is that?
That's very.
So how does it feel to be in the podcast? I know you've been listening for a little while.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan, as many people are, and it's such a great opportunity to be here myself, and that's lovely.
Lovely to have you.
Yes.
Well, you are embarking on some pretty hefty studies onto your PhD. Mm-hmm. Yes, and this is part of it.
It is.
Fantastic. And the title of this scoping review is Enhancing Mobility in Students with Non-Ambulatory Cerebral Palsy in School Settings. It's a scoping review of the MOVE program. And it's got a lot of really good words in there, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Lots of good words.
The title says something already, doesn't it?
And there's such an art form in a really good title, don't you think? Yeah, it takes a long time to come up with.
Definitely.
So you'll be presenting that work here, and I'd love to talk more about it because some people would have heard about the MOVE program before, but let's shed a bit more light on what it is. So can you describe to us what is MOVE?
Okay, so actually MOVE has been published already in 1990, and I think of it as one of the very first functional approaches to teaching mobility for non-ambulatory children.
Right.
So, and it was developed by a special education teacher in California. Her name is Linda Bidabi. And has been implemented in many different settings and countries. And so actually it uses the resources that we have in school to teach mobility within natural settings.
Yes.
So I think it was developed a long time ago, but it fits quite well to what we are about to do right now.
That's fantastic. And you have a slightly different background to many of us that are here. What is your actual profession?
I am a teacher for special education.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Am I a kind of a unicorn? No, I'm not, because I know that within the EACD there have been teachers for special education, Charlene Butler, to name one important.
Yeah.
And but I think because of the ICF, I think medicine and therapy and education have come so close together, and it's a unique opportunity to combine us.
Absolutely. It's such a unique perspective because we talk so much about, you know, where do children spend their time? Well, during school age years, guess what? School.
That's true.
And so it's wonderful to have the fact that you're doing this kind of research and about topics that you would often hear a physiotherapist and an occupational therapist talk about.
That's true.
So that's really fantastic. So for you then, what drew you to the MOVE program?
Sorry, what?
What drew you to the MOVE program
What drew
then?
me?
Yeah, as a teacher.
Actually, I was working for a professor who was focusing on mobility.
Okay.
And I saw this green book on his desk. And it was about the MOVE program that was back in 1995 or something.
Okay.
And actually, before that, I worked at a school for 1 year. And I took care of a child who could not speak and walk at that time. And I thought it's just given. And you cannot really do something about it. And then when I read this book,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, that really can make a change to many people, because first you have to know, okay, there's change possible,
Right, of course.
even for the more severely affected children. And you have a systematic approach to teaching them. And it's not easy, I think, for this population, because implementing the clinical guidelines for mobility, for them, it needs intensive practice. And I think the parents or the caregivers already have some kind of caregiver burden, if you want to say so. And so that's the approach. Let's practice in school. They spend much of their time there. We have years that we can practice and in natural settings. So that's one of the main approaches.
So done within an education setting then, what kind of training is required? Because are teachers carrying this out? I mean, are they, therapists aren't coming in to do this work. This is,
so actually,
who's doing it?
So actually, the MOVE organization has a training, which is a 2-day or a 4-day training, depending on the country. And that then you get the certificate as a MOVE practitioner. You get to know the program in detail. And it can be therapists, it can be teachers, it can be school assistants.
Very multidisciplinary.
So many of the people who directly work with the children are able to work with the MOVE program.
I see. Okay. So it does embed a lot of motor learning into it from what you've already described. Can you just help me to understand, like in a typical school day when a child goes to school, they're obviously there for education. Is MOVE something they do as part of like a subject, or is it embedded across their whole day? What does it actually look like? Can you give me an example?
It's actually definitely embedded throughout the school day.
Amazing.
So when, for example, when we find out to reach this individual goal of the child, we should work on standing up with bearing weight, for example, because that would help the parents to do transfers with the children, for example. Then we look for every situation throughout the school day, and we call it MOVE opportunities to practice this skill. That's one thing, and most of the schools have additional MOVE lessons where we really focus on the new skills. Really motor learning, working on the just manageable level, and so on.
So the movements are self-initiated. They're still very task-specific. Is there a lot of handling that's involved at all? Is it just really to help position? What does that actually look like? Or I guess prompting as well. You know, there's physical prompts and there's verbal prompts. What does that look like?
So mostly we look at the physical prompts, and we look at when we want to reach this task, how much physical prompts do we give to the child, and then when we practice, we constantly reduce the prompts. So to stay in the example, when we practice standing up with a child and it does not bear weight in the beginning, then we guide this movement in a way that the child can also how can I say, take part in the movement.
Sure, be an active participant in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And then after a while, it's like instructive teaching a bit with the body, feeling how does it feel to stand up. Because many of the children have not really practiced it before, so they get a feeling. And then after a few trials, we see that they participate more actively, and then we can reduce our prompts. Then after a while, they start to bear weight while standing up, and so we can reduce this.
So it's very structured. I love that. Okay, so you did a scoping review, obviously, to look at what's been done and what's out there. Can you tell me a bit about what you found and what were your main objectives?
So actually we wanted to map all the existing literature that was out there. So we didn't have many exclusion criteria. So we had all languages, all countries, everything that was about MOVE. And also we didn't very much look at the type of publication or something, so to have a general overview. And we found literature from, I think, 17 different languages, from 30 different countries. And also not only from school settings or educational settings, but Move also being implemented with adults, proposed to be implemented with elderly when they lose some abilities.
Right.
But that has actually only been proposed, not implemented. And it has gone into national curricula, regional curricula, and local curricula in certain places.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it was a wide variety. And we had different topics that we wanted to look at, like how was Move developed and how is the concept being described? What is a retrospective theoretical background that has been proposed? Because it was developed from practical work and not based on a theory.
Sure. Okay.
And also the use of equipment within the program.
Yes.
And the use of the top-down motor milestone test, which is part of the Move program.
Okay.
Which is a programming tool, and we looked at it a bit, and we found like 30 studies on effectiveness and experiences with the Move program. But we said that's really too much for the scoping review, and now we're about to finish a systematic review that will show a bit more about that.
That's your linger point. Come talk to me about effectiveness when that result's ready.
That's true.
Okay, that's fine. It's interesting because I have, from an equipment perspective, I gather there's a fair bit of equipment required when you're talking about this population. There's no going around that from a supporting standing, mobility. And I've certainly seen, like I do love the Riften product. It's something that I do like to use because it's so useful in so many different settings. And I have seen, I'm pretty sure I've seen Move activity chairs or, is that correct?
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
So there's a bit of equipment that's required. Did you find that where people have implemented using Move, how do they get this equipment, or do you have to have the equipment, or how does that work?
I think that's really depending on the country.
Sure.
So I mean, the system in Sweden is much different from the system in Germany, for example.
Okay.
So in Germany, it's the health insurance, and you have to have something from the medical doctor that says you need this equipment and so on. So
you
I think
there's have all this equipment.
I think we use equipment on one hand mostly for the children who cannot really bear their weight, just to support us and to enable activity and motor learning, and also for children who need balance support. But Move is not equipment, and equipment is not Move. So it's one teaching element of the Move program, but actually we do a lot of work with a child as a caregiver, and so it's only one part.
I see.
And it's also a teaching utility. So we also within the equipment, we can very, very specifically give or take the prompts.
Okay.
Exactly to give the child what it needs and not more nor less.
Okay. So your high levels, what did you find from the scoping review? What was the main finding for you that you want to make sure everyone knows about?
I would say the main finding for me is that it is possible to train or to practice mobility with these children. And because I think sometimes that's not enough awareness about this topic.
Yeah.
And I think, like Peter Rosenbaum says, if I didn't believe it, I would not see it. So you have to really believe that change is possible, because motor learning for these children is more difficult, but it's the same way of learning that everyone has.
Yeah, the principles remain the same, don't they?
And the second one is you need a very structured approach. Because you need a lot of repetition, and that is what Move does. It really focuses on what is most meaningful for the child and the family.
Okay.
There's a very structured approach, and I think that is why it gives really meaningful change.
Great. So I have a few a few questions around this because everything about it sounds so good.
Yeah.
And it's been around for a long time.
Right.
But even in that time that you found it was really, really wide-ranging inclusion criteria, still not that many studies. And it's not something that I think a lot of people have really heard about.
That's true.
Why is that the case, do you think? Because, it sounds spectacular and it's based on something very practical within the school setting. I imagine parents would love that. Why do you think?
So I think it has a bit flown under the radar sometimes. So I think there's a very broad answer which is very detailed, but I think one thing is it needs some resources, definitely, and just to make it black and white, to have a child in a wheelchair is at this time, and to carry it around everywhere, at this time is easier than to practice.
Sure.
So you have to put some input into the motor learning, and then you get the rewards afterwards.
So that really calls on more research, doesn't it?
Sorry?
It calls on more research, doesn't it, to really...
And I think it's this implementation. There are barriers, so you need the training, and you also need some shift in roles. So the therapists and the teachers work together in a bit different way.
Yeah, sure. It's a different kind of relationship.
Yeah, different kind of relationship. It's very family-centered. So it's like also changing a bit the philosophy of the school or the whatever setting it is implemented in.
How can people become trained in providing Move or finding how to access Move?
So there are 3 organizations. The biggest comprehensive organization is Move International, based in the United States. And this organization covers the whole world, let's say. Except Europe. There we have Move Europe, which is situated in England, in the United Kingdom, which covers whole of Europe, except the German-speaking languages and countries. So we have Move Austria, which is like my organization, or now we call it Move Bewegung fürs Leben, Move Movement for Life. And this is for the German-speaking countries. So, and we have the websites move-international.org or com, I'm not sure. And the same for Move Europe and for
So you can try to find it. So what are the future directions here then? You've done some of this work and understanding what Move is, trying to bring awareness to it. What's the next step now?
So I think we have a lot of work to do. So I'm focusing on my PhD right now because that's a lot of work. I have so many thoughts in the back of my mind what can be done. So actually we have a non-profit organization in Germany that tries to raise funds to make it more accessible to people, for students to go to the training courses and so on. We're working on our website and we're building up this international network again across Germany, America, UK. And one thing that is in the back of my mind that I want to do in the next few years is a big multicentral study to look more into the effectiveness. Because when you said research is needed, we need more research on the effectiveness and also on the social validity, let's say, of that. So we will find some of that in the mixed method scoping review that is about to be published. But we have gaps. And these should be systematically filled.
I love that. And I think that's the challenge. And when you describe it this way, I think that the reason why research would be so important is one for advocacy as well and for funding. If it does what we think it does, that's the whole point, right? But I think about Habitil, for example, which is often, provided, but not within always a school setting. But they involve hours upon hours in a different kind of context. And I wonder whether something like this embedded within a school context, how would that be received? A lot of work to do. Sounds really good. So, Riclef, I want to ask a final question, which I've been asking everyone about. This is a conference that's been so focused on the F words.
Right.
So, Riclef, what would your advice be on how clinicians can better implement F words into their practice? And it could be based on move, if you like. But what will your thoughts and advice be on that?
So what I found out in the last month working on this manuscript that I'm writing right now is that everything is so intertwined. You cannot separate fun from functioning or family. And I think when you focus on one of these F words, it spreads to the other F words as well.
Yeah.
So, and to be aware that when you work on functioning, of course, it should be fun. And it will be fun. And so, to have a broad approach on this and
start with one and somehow spread to everything else. That's really good. Well done on doing this work. It's obviously much needed, and looking forward to seeing how this evolves for you. A PhD is a great process to look at things systematically, so I look forward to seeing what that looks like. Great. So thank you for joining us today.
Many thanks. It was a pleasure.
It was lovely to have you. To all of our listeners, I hope you really enjoyed that as well. Do take the time to look into this intervention. So obviously the website's linking to it as well, and just to understand the different kinds of approaches that are available in different contexts, which I think is so important. So hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you all again really soon for another episode of ResearchWorks Podcast. Bye.